Hi everybody, this is Kevin Purcell for Notebooks.com, and I've got a laptop for you. Now this is not one of the new Sandy Bridge laptops or even an Intel. It's an AMD laptop. It's the Acer Aspire 7552G-6436. Now as you can see, it's a nice big 17-inch laptop, and it's got a full-size keyboard with a number pad over here, and of course a trackpad. It has a nice, pretty large screen with a real decent resolution, um, and I really like the size of it and the width of the screen. It's a widescreen display, and despite the fact that it's got a glossy display, it's fairly bright. Now in direct sunlight, you can't see a whole lot with it, but we wanted to go ahead and show it to you here at Notebooks.com and give you a look at it. It has a a nice AMD Phenom 2 processor. That's a pretty fast processor. It's 2.1 gigahertz, and it comes with 4 gigabytes of RAM. It's running Windows 7 Home Premium, and of course it's got a DVD drive in it, not a Blu-ray, but it's a fairly good computer. Now I want to go ahead and show you the ports around the sides of it. Now over here on the side, of course, this is the port for the power jack, and then of course you have a LAN port right here, Ethernet, standard VGA. It also has an HDMI out port, which is great if you want to hook it up to an HD system. One USB over on this side, and then of course you got your mic and headphones jack. On the front, there's really next to nothing. Now it does have an SD card slot there on the front, and then you got your light to show whether it's on or whatever. Then it's got 3 more USB 2.0 ports over here, and of course the drive and Kensington lock. And then here on the back it's got nothing, which is getting pretty typical for most computers. Now we'll show you the bottom of the system here. And the reason I do that, it's got a nice large plate on the bottom of this. You take this off, reveals the extra hard drive slot. And then over here on the back you have the battery of it. The battery on this thing, while it's large, it is also a large screen computer, and because of that large screen display and the AMD processor, not one of the newer power sipping processors, but it's a power hungry machine. So a lot of people say that they were getting over 2 hours of battery life on this thing, and unfortunately I wasn't able to reach that point. In my informal test, I put it at 50% brightness on the display, and I ran the computer at basically just using it for typing and internet surfing the first half of the test. And the second half of the test I mainly was streaming internet video, and I got about an hour and a half. I'll put the exact time in the article on Notebooks.com related to this. So the battery life was pretty disappointing. Now for a 17-inch notebook, maybe that's not terrible, but I think you ought to be able to get at least an hour, 2 hours worth of battery life on a computer, even if it is a large, nearly desktop replacement system. Now, one thing you'll notice is just in the little, I cleaned this thing up before I did this, and you'll notice I'm already getting some fingerprints on the lid of it. Now, the computer is, for a large display computer like this, it's really not as heavy as you'd think, which is pretty good. The keyboard on it is decent. It's not a great keyboard. Well, I'm okay with it. It does have a number pad. My favorite kind of laptop keyboard is one where it's right directly in the center of the screen, but that's okay. It's a preference thing more than a real complaint about this one. One of the real problems is the trackpad. It's just too small, and I don't understand why you make a computer this size but you don't put a nice big trackpad on it. I've got the MacBook Air 13-inch, and it's got more than twice the functional size of trackpad on it, and I don't get it. Why manufacturers, Windows PC manufacturers, why can't you put a nice big trackpad on these things? It goes a long way to making your user really appreciate it. Also, the trackpad, while it does have a little bit of gesturing, you can do a 2-finger scroll on it for scrolling. That's okay. It does have a little bit of gestures. It's too small for it to really be useful. And so I'm just really not happy with that. Now, running the computer to play some games was pretty good. It wasn't great, but it was not bad either. And so, you know, if you want to use this as a gaming machine, you can play some games on it. They looked pretty good. We played some recent games, and they did all right with it. As far as speed goes, now this is just waking up from sleep mode, which is the way I use it most of the time. As far as speed goes, it's pretty good. It's not, again, the fastest computer I've ever used, but it's going to do a fairly good job for you. And so at about the $700 range for this unit, it's not a bad little system. Would I recommend this one? I don't know. I think for the price that you pay, you probably could get a little bit better system. But if you're looking for a decent, fairly portable desktop replacement, which is really what this is, then I'd say it's all right. I have my father-in-law. He looked at it, and he's been interested in buying a new computer. And so I told him about this and let him look at it, and he liked it so much after using it for just a little while that he's going to get one. So that tells you, you know, my opinions aren't always indicative of what everybody would like. My biggest problem with it is the keyboard, but he's not a touch typist. So I would say if you're looking for a great computer with a really nice keyboard, look elsewhere. If you're looking for something to do some entertainment and video and gaming and then just light surfing, and you're not a real keyboard snob like I am, then this actually is probably a really good option for you. It's fast enough. Again, if you're not going to be on the road a lot with it, you're mostly going to have it plugged in, then it'll probably work out well for you. This has been Kevin Purcell for Notebooks.com with the AMD Athlon Acer Aspire 7552G-6437, and final result is kind of mixed. I'd say thumbs up if you don't need a great keyboard, and thumbs down if you do. Thanks for watching.